So Ben, you started in Paris, now you're at Bordeaux. Does Bordeaux remind you a little bit more of Hawke's Bay?
100%. Bordeaux is more like Hawke's Bay, right by the coast. Obviously, wine country. A bit of wine in Hawke's Bay, and the wine here. Grew up in Hawke's Bay, working in the vineyards there, and then seeing so much of it here sort of, gives me a bit of a taste of home, and yeah, it's pretty awesome.
What kind of job did you do in the vineyard?
We were pruning, weeding, pruning, weeding. It's like after pruning them, tie them back up onto the wires and picking up all the dead wine, dead grapes. Just hardly.
So what you're saying is when you were driving down the road through the Bordeaux countryside, you can feel their pain.
But they got their hoodies on and trying to battle the sun and the elements, and I'm like, oh man, I remember back in my day. It's sort of like back in Hawke's Bay. When it's hot, and when it's cold, it's really cold.
What do you get up to outside of footy?
We have a beach out here called Arcachon, pretty famous for its oysters and stuff. Usually on a day off, we'll probably shoot out there and have lunch with some of the island boys on the beach. Just gives us a bit of, sort of feel like being back home for a little bit. Other than that, we usually just chill. We play a bit of Call of Duty with the boys for a laugh and banter, but really chill.
You've obviously spent a lot of time in both Super Rugby with the Chiefs, top 14 for a number of years. What do you see as the key difference?
We're more focused around mauling for penalties, scrumming for penalties, just real up the guts, one-off runners, and to be honest, it sort of fell into my hands because, I'm trying to play a bit more physical, and, if you're hearing big boppers running straight at you, that's, that was perfect for me, and the game obviously wasn't as fast, so it lasted a bit longer than I did when I was at the East. So.
Well, you're obviously there to do a lot of scrummaging. We know French rugby is good for that. What are the key differences or the insights you can give us?
Our first game was against Stade Francais when I was at Racing. Big derby. I was up against, some old school French, and he was straight like hit, and he just hips out straight up. And then I got pinged for it. I was like, what's going on here? And then we got the rude awakening and said, hey, this is French rugby, man. The ref sees you going forward. It doesn't really matter what angle you're really pushing at. And and I had to adapt to that quick because if not, I would have been on toast for most of their season. But lucky I had a bit of weight behind me, so I had to just lock it down. So
Certainly looks very hard to win away from home. Is that a lot to do with the support that comes out within these towns?
Our stadium here in Bordeaux holds 32,000, and every week, maybe tickets go out on a Monday, it's full by Wednesday morning or something. Obviously, it's such a long season. You can't send your best team, week in, week out. You sort of have to try and pick and fight which ones you send your teams on, because, like I say, obviously we'll talk about later, but the two competitions we play in, the Champions Cup and top 40, and it's just, it's here to the end of the season. Everyone's all broken or just, mentally fatigued or body's broken. And
is it more like an American baseball team? It's just a constant rotation and shuffle?
If you feel sitting a bit comfortably in, top four, you tend to, maybe sacrifice one or two games where you sort of let the young boys go out on an away game, and then you make up for the points on the home game. You have to win at home, The last thing you want to do is these are home and you get drilled in the change room. So.
You played in front of 99,000 people at Camp Nou in 2016 in the top 14 final. It's quite different from 20-odd thousand in Hamilton.
And the only time I've seen that stadium was playing FIFA when I was younger. It was just mind-blowing for myself, especially little snotty nose from Hawke's Bay. You sit on a clear in front of so many people. We probably didn't know rugby, but pretty stoked to be doing it with fellow Kiwis as well, Dan and Joe. So that was pretty awesome as well. And Yeah, they were much of the night after, but
Were Joe Rokosoko and Dan Carter a massive help to a young lad like you in Paris when you joined racing?
yeah, big shout out to those guys as well, especially Joe, Chris Massoy, and Dan. Well, obviously Dan was in France before with Pépignon, so he sort of knew how the French thought and think, and how they were. Yeah, Chris and Joe pretty much, just like took men of their wing and said, hey, do this, do that. This is how they react to this. This is how they do it here.
Was there a particular lesson that you learned above all else?
You know, you just run hard, play hard. Don't try and fix what they're trying to do. You know, just say yes sir, no sir. Just bring your element of how you play to how they're coaching. And I think they try to switch me into being the French style front rower prop. You know, your job is just scrumming and line out lefting and mauling. You know, I guess you always see what you get.
Well, I know firsthand you're a pretty skillful guy. You can kick, you can pass. You've also run over the top of Luke Braid and I a number of times, but is one I certainly do remember. Is there still aspects within the top 14 that allows you to bring that X factor out?
With the style we played here in Bordeaux, we try and get the ball in the hands of myself and we have another number 8, Terita the Tafu, Pete Samu, you know, trying to get the ball into our hands a bit more because we had the ability to catch, pass, run over players if we have to throw the ball at the back door. Yes, Tom has to get contracts, so that's it.
How is the try tally?
Let's go lower now than when it was at the Chiefs, that's for sure. I don't know how other boys over the line now. With all the flashy backs, especially if you got wingers like Damien Pernod and Louis Burberry who just run for days. So they're scoring all the points than the forwards.
Pernod particularly, that guy is as good as anyone in the world. Have you seen some incredible magic out of him?
Oh, this guy, man, he's such a character. You know, does bugger all, to be honest. He's just so talented. He walks around his gym in his bloody Crocs. Down trying someone in the corner there, and then he's throwing a 10 one's head there, and then either he's singing from the other side of the physio room, or he's so laid back. But there's some characters that you just you don't want to touch. You just let them do their thing, and they turn up on Saturday. That's pretty much all that matters. But him, and I remember when Louis first came in, like 3 years ago. Little 17, 18-year-old. I think we probably the size of my thigh. He was just running circles around Ben Lam at the time, and it's because Ben Lam was on our wing. We played together a couple years ago, and there was a few times Ben was a bit frustrated and had to grab him by the collar and said, "Hey, I'm getting old, eh? Then sorry, get me injured now, but no, he definitely reminds me of home, just the talent that's coming through.
If you look at that talent coming through, 3 big tests against the All Blacks, away from home in New Zealand, off the back of what they saw Ireland do, and obviously there is the element of the finalists in the top 14 not being there for that tour. There's enough talent for them to be excited and enthused that they can come do a job down here.
They still have the depth to come through and deliver a good game against the All Blacks, and whether the final is an excuse or not, that's up to them, But it's like I said before, it's such a long season here. Having to finish a final and then having to get on a plane, to go play an international test, is a bit demanding, especially for myself as well, because I think I have to do the same as well if we get to that stage. I've got the PNC preparations coming up, and it's the World Cup qualifier year now, so I'm going to have to strip off for a long season as well.
So how do you handle that negotiation?
The Tonga Rugby, I think they get hold of the clubs when they find the schedule is set for PNC or July window, and they obviously notify the clubs. And I've told the clubs that I'm leading the team at the moment, and it's a bit hard, if I obviously take a week or a couple of weeks off to not turn up, it'll be, a bit of a blow for the team. And But yeah, I think the Cubs are really open-minded about that, and have the best of the players to recover well as well. So
Just looking behind you, you seem to cherish those jerseys you get.
few Fijian, few of the World Cup jerseys on there.
And is there a player that you came up against that you were stoked to get their jersey?
I wanted to change with Boks at the World Cup, but I think Sia beat him to it. So I would have liked to get one of his. He's such a strong scrummager character. He's just quick as well. I've seen him off a few runaways as well, and would have been a good player. I would have loved to get one of his jerseys, but obviously, like I said, Sia beat me to it at the World Cup, and yeah.
So what is it about Ox and Shay that you really admire?
First scrum, I think we hit in, and I just felt my spine just go clack, 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 clack on my back, and so that was a first, I guess, and so powerful, and knowing his history, and he's actually pretty quiet as well. I remember chatting to him after. He's just pretty quiet on the sideline there, but just such a strong player, scrummager, quick as well. Would love to have his jersey again.
He's not doing any of that propping dark art stuff, is he? Putting his hips out?
He's there strong enough that he can just do that. So,
do you have a toughest opponent?
Probably the most vivid one would be Sione Lauaki. 2012 debut, fresh out of my undies in high school, and I was watching Sione Lauaki play a final against France the year before, and here I am propping against him, and it was a bit of a shock, but I think Tony, mate, he must have been taking it easy on me in that game, but mate, such a experienced water player too, and Tony would probably be the toughest one I've had.
Now, Tony Woodcock didn't play overseas. He went back to the farm. But, think about some of the people in France. You've got Joe Rokosoko, who you mentioned, and Jerome Kano, who's also there coaching. You don't have to come back home. Is that maybe something on the cards for you?
Yeah, 100%. I think I've played around the world enough and have played at a decent level long enough to share a bit of experience, with the younger generation. I would love to, step into some sort of scrumming coaching role, or even a mentor role for especially the young boys that come from the islands and New Zealand stuff. They come into crowds or Bordeaux, just to be like the Joe Rokosoko and the Chris Masoi to myself, to show them the ropes. This is how things are done, sort of ease their way into life here in France, because for a young kid, especially like we have a young kid now in the Espoir team, he'll come straight from Fiji, so he's away from his family, he's young, he's hasn't really got a lot of people around him, so just to be that guy, to be the sort of link between the French and himself.
Now, we ask everyone who comes on the show this question. You've been granted some selections in a World Cup squad. Now, it doesn't have to be just Tongan players. It could be players anywhere in the world. You can pick a current player, a former player, and a coach to go along. Who would you take along with you?
Someone that I admired as a young chief coming through was probably Sione Lauaki. They're physical, strong. You can, make something out of nothing. Really explosive. Could sit you down, run around you at the same time. Really one of my favorites when I was growing up, and would love to take him on my squad.
A current player?
Maybe someone like Dupont. Obviously world-class player at the moment, probably the best in the world. 9 at the moment. Another guy who can make something out of nothing, just has has an eye for space, and he can put anyone into a hole or kick for someone. Be a game changer and pretty much a rugby cheat, I guess. And just look at the achievements he's done there with the rugby and on the pro stage. So, yeah, someone like DuPont would be awesome.
Has he run around you?
Show him the inside edge, so make sure he doesn't get around you. But yeah, yours. They got it for his injury. Hopefully he recovers well, and obviously a handful for us as well. And you obviously want them on your team, but not against you. So it's yeah.
And a coach?
And a coach, I would have to say Tom, as we mentioned before. Tom is someone who pretty much, wasn't for him, I would not be sitting where I am now, I guess. He's the one that pretty much picked me out of high school, and sort of gave me the opportunity of the Magpies and sort of took me with him to the Chiefs, and sort of that guy took me under his wing. At his early stages of the Chiefs, because I know it was a bit of a handful of the Chiefs there, late to meetings, and
these days you're always on time, eh?
oh mate, you should see my arm is like 7, 701, 702, 703, 703. Well, you live and you learn, right? You live and you learn. The fines I've had, I probably could own my own club now, the amount of fines I've had over the years. Gee, but it's taken a while, but we got there too. We got there.